So what was that like for you? So you had, boys, and then all of a sudden here comes a daughter, a sister for them. What was that like?
Well, we didn't know with her. We knew with some of them, but we didn't know when I was pregnant that we were having a girl.
Hmm.
And when she was born, I didn't look. It was her father who was like, "Oh my God, we have a girl." I was like, really? Like, I didn't even think to look. I wasn't in that space at the time. I was just happy to have a little one on this side and, had complete with that process.
Mhm. Mhm.
um, but yeah, it's different. It's very different. I know boys well. Like, I'm learning girls, even though I'm a woman. I'm learning girls, and I'm getting to see, or at least reflect on my own childhood as a little girl.
Hmm. Do you remember when you reflect back on your pregnancy, feeling or noticing anything different, whether it was body feelings, dreams, thoughts with her versus the other four?
Um, I was nauseous my whole pregnancy with her, like really incredibly nauseous. There was a lot of movement, like her birth, her pregnancy. Like I came to New Mexico 5 months pregnant with her.
Okay.
So even in the beginning of the pregnancy, like there was all this transitioning, you know.
All that change, all that five
Yes,
energy.
yeah, yes, a lot of transitioning, and yeah, I don't know. Did I answer?
You sure did. Okay, so now you end up becoming a father of four, well, father of five, but three boys before. Yes.
Hmm.
What was it like when you saw that there was no longer boys?
I wanted a girl. I wanted at least one girl so that I could experience that side of life because I grew up with an older brother and I always wanted an older sister, you know, because I just felt like there was this whole other dynamic that happens, with an older sister and a younger brother, and I see that a lot with Hah-Nah and Caduce.
Mm-hmm.
She gives him a level of support and encouragement, and she'll sit there and look at him and say, "Oh, he's so cute," you know. Um, so it's good for me to see that coming from her,
Mm-hmm.
but also for myself, just having a girl brings out a different energy, so I'm looking to just from being in this body be have as many of the experiences of life as I can for my soul evolution. So
Mm-hmm.
to have a girl versus roughhousing with boys, it'll give me another tenderness, another softness, another level of nurturing that I may not have because I have boys, but also since I do have a girl, it does enhance the nurturing aspect when I go and I deal with my boys.
Mm-hmm.
So it just we all have the male and the female principles. So I have a strong male principle already. So just that balance, comes from having a daughter and also, paying attention when my wife says certain things and, really assessing it in terms of how is this going to make me, a better man.
Yeah. So And just so you know, there's a part of me that's being quiet just because when I talk, sometimes I hear the feedback coming back through the phone. So for clean, um, for clean recording. So that's the only reason why you might not hear me saying, mm-hmm, uh-huh. I'm really trying to keep
Sure.
myself from doing it because I really want to do it. So,
Sure. Sure. No worries. No worries. Yes, of
all
course.
right. All right. So here you are now, a male, you have a daughter. Well, let me ask you this. At any point during that pregnancy, did you suspect that it was a girl?
I don't know. I probably after three, I'm probably like really understanding that it's the luck of the draw,
Right.
so to speak. You got a 50-50 chance. So I didn't have any expectations,
Okay. Okay.
at all. Um, but what's interesting to see for me is with each of the children, just the transformations that go on in terms of them telling the parents like what they need,
Mm-hmm.
and what we're supposed to be focusing on. Like Hannah wanted to get out of Jersey.
Okay.
Hannah wanted to be, because that's when we moved to New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started working at the lab. That's when, we lived in our first house together. Um, everything kind of just, upgraded at that point from where we were. And it happened with each of the children. With Noah, our firstborn, this happened. And then we went to Ethiopia. And then we come back and Om was born. And then, we start doing this. And then Nabi was born. So each level,
Mm-hmm.
adds on to the entire family's life. And then with Kidus, the last born, um, we bought our house,
Okay.
with that one. So it's a place where we could stay. We don't have to move anymore. And, now everybody can put down roots. So like the kids really bring the blessings.
Wow.
You know?
That's a powerful statement. Now I'm like you, Tentawe. I got to sit with that one for a minute. That's
Mhm,
I
right?
can go all types of places in that.
Right?
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's true. Something pretty major happened with each one. So
Uh,
good.
what was it like for you, Satu, to know that your daughter had sickle cell?
Okay, so like when they did the newborn screening, and it came back that she had sickle cell, um, I was like, okay, I didn't really fully, understand from a medical standpoint of what that meant.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew it was like something at that point I didn't factor in to having to deal with it. So then they did it again. They did the screening again, and in between the first one and the second one, I'm basically praying for that to be a mistake. The first one, the first results. So then the second one comes back and it's like, okay, she's been diagnosed as having sickle cell. So I just really at that point was like, oh, okay, well, there's some learning here that's supposed to take place on the family part and then on my part, because I really don't I feel like that's what I'm down here for, the learning. So I had to have certain experiences for that learning. I'm not here, me personally, I don't feel like I'm here to go through the woe is me, the hardship, I had a rough life. I'm here to go through certain things so that I can evolve. And my life has been fantastic. What some people may look at as adversity. It's just stuff that happens, it's just stuff that happens. So you just deal with it. So I was like, okay, then I started to see like we were dealing with, different Dr. Sadie representatives, I'll say. So then, our scope of how to eat opened up. And then we learned more about alkaline foods. And we learned more about this has thiocyanate in it, which could help, curb the amount of sickle cells that are made. And then, so just all of this learning started happening. So I saw what the purpose of this was for me, in terms of me being able to have this experience. So, and then I also realized, like, what is the real reason why I don't want her to have sickle cell? Like, is it because I don't want to deal with it? That's basically what it is. And that's cowardice, if you will, to me. It's here. It's not going anywhere at that time. It wasn't going anywhere. So I don't want to deal with it. That's why I would, now that I know, that's why I was praying, like, hope she doesn't have it, so on and so forth. My own deficiencies, not anything that, I just didn't want to deal with it, is what it boils down to,
Tintawe, what is that like for you to hear that truth from him?
I mean, I get it. I think I knew a little more because I knew about Dr. Sadie before I got married. And this is hard, sis. Like, this is a hard topic, right? Because nobody really wanted us to get married in our family. Because, and I won't even say nobody, I'll say my mother specifically knew he was the one. And didn't really didn't really embrace anybody else like she did him. And I mean, and I knew at that point, but it was like, well, but you both are walking with something, like, but I felt like if I'm following what the Most High is telling both of us to do, then whatever comes from it has to be okay, And I didn't even think I could have children when I got married, So I really didn't stress about the sickle cell like some other of my relatives might have, because it was like, well, it's unlikely I'm gonna have children anyway. And then they started coming, So I get
Say
it.
that last part again. You just spoke up.
Oh, and then they started coming. And with each one, like, nobody had anything, like nothing to fear or nothing to worry about. And I mean, I think I probably held on to the idea that it just wasn't gonna hit us like that, And I mean, I had friends that I grew up with, some that aren't here. One who we're having a memorial for tomorrow, actually. He was from Teaneck. And actually, this sister, who is my mother's age, both her sons had sickle cell anemia. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a thing like with anything, right? Like, we all carry something. So it's like, do you just walk through the fire, or do you just abstain completely? And I don't have any regrets, sis. Like, I know each one of these babies were supposed to be here. Does it hurt? Do I want to deal with it all the time? No, I don't always want to deal with it. Sometimes, like, I just want to see, and she's right here now, I just want to see her doing everything I know she wants to do. But I know there's not a soul on this planet that doesn't walk with something.
Mhm.
And this is just her particular challenge and our particular challenge as a family, but we're not alone in challenges.
From a faith-based spirituality standpoint, I know some Christians might say that's her cross to bear, like a terminology like that. From your spiritual faith-based standpoint, how is it that you look at this being a part of your life? And that goes for both of you.
Well, I mean, I feel like this, like saying, you know, this is her cross to bear is too narrow of a view of this to me. And really, there's no real explanation, or, you know, I never asked, you know, like, God, why did this happen? That stuff to me doesn't make sense. I'm going to say to myself, inside of myself, okay, this is what's happening. I know why I'm here. This is why it's happening, because of this, which is why I'm here. You know, I never saw it as something where we were going to suffer. You know, I never saw it as something where, you know, it was just gonna go down and it was gonna go down bad, and we would just, you know, never. And then on top of the fact that I was certain of how and why Tintawi and I came together, I didn't need to question it. If you had that understanding, then you just go with it because you're supposed to be together. And so,
And Arisha just, I mean, they told I would still be having children. Like, I mean, they called it, and I didn't see it or believe it, but they called it that I was supposed to have children. And then my mother being Yemoja, like, it's the mother of fishes, you know, they're supposed to be babies, so they're here.